I don't want to have to see my children's children's children have to say, oh, please like me, please respect me, please know that I am important, please value me. Those were the words from the great Stevie Wonder back in 2021 when he announced his departure from the U.S. in favor of Ghana. As that announcement made its way across social media, the responses varied from sadness of one of America's most treasured living musicians that he would be moving away from the U.S. to some just expressing acceptance of a deeper truth of what Stevie Wonder was actually speaking to. And many were not far behind after that announcement. Even Dave Chappelle announced that he would also be leaving not long after that announcement. So this is a real quick video. I'm in between edits and I just happened to see this article while I was researching something else. And I try not to hammer the whole emphasis on black too much, but it's what I am, so sometimes I just have to speak a little more closer to my truth and how it relates to me in my life. So before we get on to the next video, allow me one quick video to express something real quick. This U.S. abandonment is not limited to just celebrities or musicians or great intellectuals or anything like that. It's across the board, and like I said, not limited to black people either. But this particular article happened to highlight 3 black expatriates who now live in other countries and gave their testimonies to why they did it and why they feel they're happy they did it. I'm raising 3 black children and they are not a casualty I can afford. This from a one Tiara Falan, who's also known by her stage name Darling Tiara, and she is an educator, a screenwriter, and an actress who has been talking about moving from Oakland, California to somewhere in Africa for some time with her husband. As the uprisings against police murders from George Floyd and Breonna Taylor increased some years ago, it urged her and her family to leave. She got her finances together, got her savings together, even used stimulus checks. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to fund their move. And in their words, they consider that to be a sweet justice, a reparation of sorts. Here, I'm a man. I'm not just a black man anymore. Those are the words from a one Rashad McCrory, whose story began in the early throes of the pandemic. His changes of mind and decisions began during the Trump administration when he was stranded where he was traveling to due to the advisory of American citizens to immediately come home or risk not being able to return to America. He weighed his options, tossed around some things with his family, and ultimately decided to stay where he was and hasn't returned back to the US. He says where he's at now, he's more relaxed, he's able to make a better living by doing tours around the surrounding countries that he's at, and it confirms everything about him making the right decision to stay where he was. Now he says it doesn't solve every one of his problems, but the problems he has now are just better problems to have. I feel that. While anti-blackness is global, there's a particular flavor to it in the US. Those are the words from a one, and I hope I pronounced this right, Mkala Hashiki, happens to be the owner of an erotic wellness coaching business and shares the sentiments of the previous person. Goes on to say that the US hates black people and doesn't see that changing in their lifetime, unfortunately. They've been living in Belize since 2019. Further goes on to say that it's a daily burden dealing with the anti-blackness in the US, and that they didn't realize just how bowed under the weight they were until they had been in Belize for a couple of months. And they started to feel like it was the first time that they were able to stand upright and take a full breath. So there's no concrete data on record that reports the exact number of black people that are immigrating from the US to live abroad, but from conversations on social media and interviews of people in person, it seems to confirm that there is in fact a black exodus, or at the very least an interest in the black exodus. And it's a growing trend. There's a term that's been used at least for as long as I've known about, the last 3 to 4 years, and it's called Blacksit. Black exit, essentially. And most of the social media platforms I'm aware of, they have groups and stuff where people who have like-minded interests come together and just kind of chop it up and discuss what they would like to do or how they feel like they got to the point where they want to do something about their troubles, their issues, and plans. It's been a huge spike in black digital nomads, whether it be like van lifers, off-grid livers, nomads in the sense of just traveling around the world and just experience life differently. And the only way for anybody like me or otherwise to know that there are options out there is for people like this to tell their story and get their testimonies out. A lot of these Black Sikh tribes or Black Sikh groups have a plethora of information, and if you fall within this kind of like-mindedness, I encourage you to find these groups and start talking, start getting the word out, start spreading the availability of having options. Make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. That's pretty much all I got to say about this. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.